Are you ready for your close-up? Are you ready? You're such a good girl. Oh my gosh. Hi, beautiful humans. I'm Kayla.
This is Rose. And I'm Ashley. Welcome to Your Soul Welcome.
A podcast of belonging for humans exploring their deepest hearts. You guys are so lucky to see Sweet Rose up here with us, because sometimes she gets afraid of the mic stands and then doesn't want to jump up. So we invited her up in a more loving way today, so that hopefully you guys would get to see her in all of her beauty. Yeah.
We played outside for a little bit.
We did. We played in a bush. She's a bush baby. And she likes to hide in them.
It is so lovely outside today right now. It is currently 67 degrees and sunny.
Sunny AF. She's staying.
But you can't see her because of the computer, but she's here. So no, she's here with us.
She is. Yes, absolutely.
And we're just so happy that you got to see her.
Our elusive sweet girl who only likes to vocalize during our podcast.
Yeah, so far.
And if you are listening instead of watching on YouTube, I'm sorry you can't see her, but she's so cute.
She's so cute and so sweet.
Yes. So for today's episode, we kind of wanted to talk a little bit about rituals.
Yeah.
And not like rituals with like a candle and a goat or something fucking weird like that. We just want to talk about like the idea of ritualizing your self-care or your self-intimacy and how you be in relationship with yourself.
Yeah.
Because I feel like Ashley said when we were discussing the topic that she's like getting into this. And I feel like I'm at a place. Are our mics drifting down? I just was thinking that they did
Mine
too.
was, for sure.
While we ate lunch.
Adjusting.
Righty tighty, lefty loosey. Beep.
Beep boop. Oh yeah, there it is. Oh my.
My hand was at a weird angle on it. It really hurt, actually.
Sure. Oh no, are you okay?
Yeah. I mean, I just hurt like a baby tendon. Thank you.
You're welcome. How better?
Told better.
Okay.
You're such a mom. I love it so much.
I can't help it.
I mean that in the sweetest
Oh,
way.
good.
So, yeah. So when we're talking about ritualizing, I feel like I'm in a place where I've tried so many different rituals that I feel like I'm more in the groove with what I know I like in how I want to be in a relationship with myself which feel in a way that feels self-loving.
Oh yeah.
And not me trying to fit into someone else's box, which is how trying to ritualize my behaviors kind of started.
Okay.
So, and if you don't love the word ritualize, you could use like systems or routines or
just care.
I was going to say the ultimate buzzword. Habits. I really hope that turns out cool.
Yeah, that sounded good to me over here. Oh, bye.
Goodbye, Rose. Auf Wiedersehen.
Hasta la vista, baby.
Thank you for chord managing
You're
her exit.
welcome. Didn't want her to get stuck.
So, because I feel like habits get a lot of play on the stage of social media and books and podcasts and
do these habits to be successful.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think what the beauty can be in ritual is that you don't necessarily have that judgment that we naturally associate with having bad habits.
Oh, yeah.
No one ever talks about having a bad ritual.
Well, what you said about the goat and the candle, that didn't sound too good.
But I don't think the people who are engaging in rituals in that
Right.
way think it's bad.
That's true. That is absolutely true. I
But
get
we
what you're
do
saying.
definitely talk about bad habits.
Yes, we definitely do.
And I think that if we can perhaps change our word choice, that can open up a realm of possibilities that doesn't have necessarily the baggage associated with the other
Right.
word.
Right.
Because words matter to our unconscious mind.
Absolutely. And I've been so much more mindful of that since being friends with you too, because
That's what
you said
happens
that.
when you meet a
I
neurolinguistic
know.
programming nerd.
And I love that, because I've just been so much more mindful of not only the words that I'm using out loud to myself and with
Mhm.
myself, but with my kids and in my family and my house. Um, it's just it really is impactful. Oh, and I was thinking about this. What about that other word that you like to use?
Oh, what word?
Devotion, right? What
I
about
love the word
so
devotion.
like instead of rituals, what about like devotional to yourself?
Absolutely, yes. I love being in devotion to yourself
Yeah.
because it allows for a return, right? Like it allows for flexibility.
Mhm.
And
It's
because if
about
you're
love,
if you're devoted to something, you'll always circle back around to it.
right?
You'll always circle back around to it
Mhm.
because you're devoted. That doesn't mean that
Right.
you're going to spend every minute of every day or every action
Mhm.
doing that one thing.
Right.
But if you are devoted, there is a automatically implied
Mhm.
level of return.
Right.
And when you are a person who feels like you've fallen off the wagon
Right.
or fucked up,
Mhm.
you know,
Mhm.
then devotion allows for you to not only do that, but then to also be able to access a choice to return.
Right.
So when you say things like, I'm devoted to my own self love,
Mhm.
that doesn't mean you're fucking perfect.
Right.
Although I do love that Pink song that tells me that I am.
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
I'll let Pink tell me that I
Yes,
am.
for sure. And
um,
and Selena Gomez.
does she have a good one too?
Yeah.
What's that one?
Who says you're not perfect?
Oh, I do know that one.
Yeah. She's so cute. I love her.
I don't know that I have big Selena Gomez feelings. I don't know that I care either way.
I think she's adorable.
Am I sleeping on Selena Gomez, you guys?
Absolutely.
Okay, all right. I'll try her out. I'm excited to get back into music anyway.
Yeah. That's what we'll be
My
celebrating.
brain for a long time with long COVID couldn't let me like function and listen to music. So I had to stop listening to music if I wanted to get anything done. And that
Yeah.
was a real life bummer. Well, you guys know, you hear how much I sing. I'm a musical ass person. A musical ass person.
Co-working. I love co-working with you. I do love co-working with you. But
But
co-working in silence
that's
sometimes
not a
gets
thing I
rough. It
do.
gets rough. Well, we have
Have we? Oh,
so many
yes.
times, so many
You're
times,
right.
so many
Sorry.
times.
Without music, you
Yes,
mean.
yeah.
Not like
No,
in
not like in
talkative
no, no,
silence,
no.
because have you met
Yes,
us?
no, we don't do that.
That's not
But
how that goes.
no, but without any music or background noise.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. So
I know that's not how your brain works, and I very much appreciate your
yeah,
flexibility.
no problem.
But I'm coming back to myself in so many ways, and
Yay.
it feels good. Which also means that I get to
Yeah.
be engaging in some of my rituals that I kind of had to set to the wayside.
Yeah.
One of which was like dancing to music.
Yes.
That was really hard. And then dancing in silence because your brain can't focus on two things.
Yeah.
So you have to cancel the music. Like dancing in silence isn't that much fun for me.
Yeah.
Maybe it is for you. I don't know. You do you. If that's what you love, do it. It was not for me. And so then I stopped dancing and it's tragic.
There's a new Pink song. There's a new
What?
Pink song
I love Pink, tell
where
me!
literally, the whole song is about, like, how she will give up everything in the world except for dancing.
Ugh, Pink understands me.
Wait and listen to that with me on Saturday.
Okay.
I'm so excited.
Should we record that for Patreon? Okay.
Yes!
Yay. Also join Patreon. We push Patreon really hard because we want to create a community with you guys, and
Yes.
not everyone feels like they want to be vulnerable just out loud on the internet.
Yeah.
So Patreon is a really nice place where we can create that
Yes.
and where we can be extra vulnerable also.
It's a very curated space. It's a safe space where only the people who are choosing to be there with us in this
Mhm.
space, being vulnerable in the same way, are in that space.
Yeah, for surezies.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's a loving space, a space
Yeah.
of kindness and joy and honesty.
I
I'm
hope
gonna like splice that into like a little, I don't know, baby commercial for our
yeah.
Patreon. What?
I love it. I was thinking it. I saw Butter's face. I saw Butter's face when you sang it. I just wasn't going to say it.
For those of you listening, not watching, I just mouthed the words in the butt because I said what, and I can't not.
So that's from South Park?
Is it from South Park?
Yes, from South Park. Butters is the character, and he has a whole little song and he sings, what in the butt?
I fucking never knew that because I didn't watch South Park when that was a popular
I was
phrase.
not allowed to watch South Park.
Correct.
Yeah.
And then I married into, well, I didn't marry in at the time, but I moved in with my husband, which also meant that I moved in with my future brother-in-law,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Because he was living with my
Yeah.
husband
Yeah.
at the time. And so they would watch South Park all the time. And
Yeah.
so then I became a South Park fan
Yeah.
finally. Although I have mixed South Park feelings right now.
I didn't know that Carrie was a South Park fan.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Then I'm so excited. Oh, I'm so excited.
What are you so excited for?
Well, I am so excited. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I'm so excited.
Why are you this excited that he loves South Park?
One of my favorite places in the whole wide world is in Denver,
Okay.
and it is the kitschiest, campiest place in the whole wide world, in a little strip mall in Denver.
Okay.
Have you ever heard of Casa Bonita?
Casa Bonita. I feel like I've heard of it, but I don't know what it is, if
There's
I'm
for
being
sure
honest.
a part of an episode of South Park.
Oh, okay.
It's in a little strip mall, a real inconspicuous kind of place.
Okay.
And you go in and you stand this long line and you get this little cafeteria tray of real bad Mexican food.
You told me about this place, but go on, keep
And
going.
then you walk through and you walk through and you walk through this little maze, and then all of a sudden you smell the super strong smell of chlorine. And you
Sounds
hear
creepy, but go on.
rushing water. And you go towards the smell of chlorine and the sound of rushing water with your really bad Mexican food.
Whoosh.
And then the
This is
smell,
now an ASMR channel.
yeah, the smell of cinnamon and fried foods start wafting in with the chlorine.
You're really building this up.
Oh yeah. And then you sit down and you see this giant cliff and waterfall.
Ooh.
And there's cliff divers and they just dive. And you get to watch these cliff divers in this little strip mall. It's not actually like a strip mall on the inside. It's like a whole thing. And there's arcade rooms and these little like alcoves.
So it's like it's speakeasy-esque because you're getting into a space that like you didn't know was there. Or like maybe TARDIS-esque. It's bigger on the inside.
It's so much bigger on the inside.
Okay. What does it have to do with South Park though?
Trey and Matt
Are those the
the
creators?
creators of
Okay,
South
creators
Park.
of South Park.
During COVID, Casa Bonita was going out of business real bad. They bought it.
They saved it?
They saved it, and they hired, like, decent chefs to not change the menu, but to make the menu
Revitalize.
decent. So,
The
like,
international symbol for revitalize.
that's not what that means to me. That means a whole different thing to me.
I mean, I know what this means, but if it's both,
Sometimes you
is
gotta
that just
use
2
'em.
sets?
I mean, if it's together, maybe it's just one big set.
I have not encountered that. I have
Me either. I mean, I'm just
guys listening, I'm making a ball gesture with my hand, like upward turned palm with wiggling fingers, the international symbol for balls. But I was doing it two-handed.
but it looks like one giant ball and another giant ball.
We
Anyways.
gotta stop making that
Yep,
gesture.
anyways. Anyways.
So they bought Casa Bonita.
Yes, they bought Casa Bonita. And they're revitalizing the menu, and they're, like, revamping it, and they're opening it this summer sometime. I'm so excited. I'm so excited.
Okay, so you want to take my husband there. That's what I'm hearing from this.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. Check. I mean, I'll go with you.
Oh, good.
Because
It's a package deal.
Colorado Rocky Mountain High. No, wait. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. John Denver's not my strong suit. Ooh, it's 222.
I just bought a John Denver album at the thrift store.
Wow. Okay, so I like John Denver, but my parents made me listen to too much John Denver.
Oh, I love
Mostly
your
my
parents.
dad made me listen to too much
Oh.
John Denver, and so I got a little
John
too
Denver.
much sunshine on my shoulders is what happened.
Sunshine on my shoulders makes me happy.
It does in fact also make me happy. It is in fact one of my rituals. Hey-o.
Kayla's dad, if you ever want to listen to some John Denver.
New album.
Well, it's not new, it's real old.
Well, okay, well, old new album, new to Ashley album.
Yep. I got you.
Do you mean vinyl?
Yeah, vinyl.
I didn't even know you had a record player. Is that one of your rituals? Girl, put your record on. Can you, referring back to one of our past podcasts, I'm not sure when it'll come out, but when
Yes.
we were talking about you seeing music,
Yes. What about it?
do you see it differently with vinyl versus digital?
So I can see it is so like I can the static. I can static effects.
That's kind of sexy.
So it's like a sweatshirt has heathering.
Yes.
Like the static.
The sound has
Has
heathering.
heathering, yeah.
Oh my god, that sounds sexy. I love that. Okay, because Carrie's best friend is a total audiophile.
Oh yeah.
He has a room in his basement that is like foam lined and created. I'll have to take you over sometime. But it is streamlined and created so that there is one point in the room that gets the highest quality sound. You have legitimate goosebumps right now.
Like even on my face. My face has goosebumps.
You just got like a real big hard on for
Yeah,
this
I did.
audiophile room.
Yeah,
Okay.
I did.
So anyway, yeah, so there's this one chair in this room where you sit and the music, the resonance is like at the perfect vibrations for you to get the fullest body of the music or whatever. It sounds really great to me, but I've never experienced it. Because his kids are usually home and we're on the upper level.
My mom listens to these podcasts.
Yes?
Yeah. It's okay.
Does
Sounds
your mom not like music?
No, my mom loves music. It would be, I think, blah, 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 blah. It just sounds really enjoyable to me.
Oh, I see. I'll say it. It does sound very like full body pleasurable is
Yeah.
what it sounds like.
Yeah, it does.
Like all the tingly bits in all the places.
Yeah.
Because that's how I can feel sometimes when I'm really vibing with music. If I put music on specifically for me to like get myself in a trance space, and like as a human trained in hypnotherapy, I know how to do that very well. You can also do that with like alpha and theta binaural beats.
Oh, yeah.
So if you want to, like, entrance yourself, you can always just, like, listen to that music first and then put on your jams,
Mhm.
create, like, a little playlist on Spotify. Anyway, it's to feel those full body tingles
Oh, yeah.
for surezies, which
Mm.
is a ritual that I have for myself. One of the sorry, I'm trying to, like,
Yeah, you
steer
keep
our
yeah,
ship
nope, I
just a
really
little bit.
I really appreciate that because 'cause I'm way off in left field.
Um, you're just sitting over there dancing, and I
Yep.
love that for you. I like when you take us left field.
Thank you.
We go to cool places.
Thank you.
Also, I'm certain that people with ADHD listen to us, and they enjoy the fact that we delve into weird side pockets.
Thank you.
Like, on the podcast that we just recorded, I never finished talking about how I finished shaving my like, I did actually shave my legs.
Yeah.
Follow up to that, I did shave my legs because mostly I wanted to stop thinking about it.
Mm.
I wanted to stop thinking about whether or not I should,
Mhm.
so I just did it. And honestly, it was a relief for my brain space,
Yeah.
and that's not to say that I don't still also enjoy the feeling of wind ruffling through my leg hair, because I do. And I'll probably enjoy that when I grow it back out later this summer because I'm lazy about shaving. Or
Can we rephrase that?
thank you. I was literally just beginning my sentence with the word or. So look at how good we are at rephrasing. Another ritual we engage in when we hear ourselves say things that we're like, maybe we don't call ourselves lazy.
Yeah, yeah.
And that is something that I'm genuinely working on, is reframing lazy for myself, because my parents raised me with that, like, really good old-fashioned, like, Midwestern work
Oh,
ethic,
yeah.
and what that led to was straight to burnout.
Oh, yeah.
Burnout City,
Oh,
USA!
yeah.
And so thank you for asking me if we could rephrase,
You're
because
welcome.
making a personal body hair choice and not wanting to always engage in that behavior does not mean that I am lazy.
Yeah.
It means that I have different priorities than what society has told me that I should have.
Yep.
Yes.
You would like to do something else with your time.
Mhm. And just so that you guys know listening, this is in fact how my internal dialogue sounds. I'll catch myself and be like, or we phrase it as this thing, and then I'll talk myself into whatever phrasing is ideal. And the
Mhm.
more often I do that, then the more often my brain gets reminded of how I desire to think. And the more often my brain gets reminded of how I desire to think, then she will habitualize that. And it's not so much that you have to, like, make sure that you're always saying the same thing
Right.
as a pattern.
Mhm.
The pattern is being in conversation with your own mind and always grooming it towards being, oh, I hate the word
Yeah,
grooming. I'm really
that was
sorry I use that, you
ooh, that
guys.
was I was like,
Oh,
"Ugh."
I'm really sorry if vomit sounds creep you out. Sorry. I'm really sorry. My bee. Um,
There we
coaxing
go.
my brain into having more self-loving thoughts.
Yeah.
And that is the ritual that I work on
Mhm.
constantly.
Yeah.
That's probably the ritual I have most on repeat,
Yeah.
because I've been doing that since I learned about it when I read Dana Wilde's Train Your Brain, which I think I mentioned in a past episode. It's geared towards people who are in, like, multi-level marketing things like
Oh, yeah. Is
Mary
that the one that
Kay
you, like,
or
didn't finish? Like,
yeah,
you
I
yeah.
totally did
You're
not
like,
finish
"I
it.
pulled, like, these 3 things," or
Yeah,
whatever, and I
and
was
they
like,
changed my
"Yeah,
life,
yeah,
and then I moved on
yes." I love that, though.
moved on to other things.
Yeah. I
That's the story of me reading any self-help book, though.
yeah.
I'll do that with anything. As soon as I get, like, 3 useful things, I'll, like, fucking stop reading it. Because I
You
can't
take what you can take.
well, because I can't implement everything,
No.
and I'm usually so excited about the ideas that I want to implement, that I wanna implement them right now,
Yeah.
which means that I have to stop stuffing my head full of other things.
Yep.
So, if you chronically don't finish your self-help books, but you are also implementing things from them, that's okay.
Yeah.
It's what I do,
Yeah.
and I don't really feel that bad about it.
Yeah.
Sometimes I do, because there are, like, really good books, like The Wild Woman's Way. I think I mentioned this last
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, anyway, I would like to finish that one.
So maybe eventually you can go back to it. Like, you don't have to read it all in one
Yes.
sitting.
So, I do. I think my favorite ritual is being in conversation with my own brain. And then
Mm,
since learning neurolinguistic programming, how to speak to your own brain to like repattern things, that like has super also changed my game.
yeah.
Quick pluggy plug. If this conversation really interests you
Mhm.
in the homecoming program, Self-Love for Who You Are, that I have created through my business Braveheart Open Mind. We talk specifically about repatterning and we talk about NLP, neuro-linguistic programming. So please feel free to go to braveheartopenmind.com and you'll see the homecoming program as one of like the first things on the website.
It's a good one. I mean, they're all good ones, but
Mhm.
Homecoming is a good one.
I forget that you have homecoming. Yay.
um, I have been doing a lot of that actually out loud with my kids.
Ooh, I love that. Do
Um,
tell.
because I will hear the way they say things out loud about themselves or the way they talk to each other, and it will just be a quick, can we rephrase that? Just like I did with you.
Yeah.
Not that I'm trying to parent you or
No,
whatever, but
it's
it's
you've
just a
now
prompt.
habitualized
Yeah,
that, and I think
it is.
that's fucking
It's
beautiful.
just it's just a prompt, and I do it with Mark, and I do it with myself. Like, I will do it out loud to myself, just
Yes.
because I
We
don't.
love some good
Yeah,
self-talk.
like, I don't want to be mean to me. I don't want my kids to get frustrated with themselves and say, "Ugh, I'm so stupid." No.
That makes
No.
my inner child cry because I
Yes.
told myself that so much.
Same, same. And I know those feelings, and it feels that way when you mess up something that you've done 27,000 times before and you mess it up one day because you're not paying full attention.
Mhm.
Absolutely feel stupid, right?
Mhm.
But that is not a fact.
And let us go on a jag for a moment, as I have learned the past months, that stupid is actually such a really mean thing to say to someone.
Yeah.
Because I've been dealing a lot with my own internal grappling with my internal processing speed because of the long COVID and because of the brain fog.
Mm.
And even in a conversation that I was having with Carrie, he was like, "Oh my god, this kid at Canes like wasn't a good conversationalist. He wasn't a good employee," is what he was implying.
Mhm.
Um And just to preface this, my husband's the nicest and he's also super not a dick. Like he's a really nice person, but I think we as a society have so normalized fast processing speed as
Oh, yeah.
being required that like this kid at the counter like
Mhm.
stood there staring at him for a moment
Oh, yeah.
before he responded.
Mhm.
And Carrie was like, "He didn't even talk to me or say 1 moment, sir," or anything like that, and I'm
Yeah.
like, "He was probably just processing what you said."
Yeah.
Like, not everyone has, like, rapid fire auditory processing,
Right.
which is something that I knew very intimately as a teacher,
Right.
and now having to experience it for myself,
Mhm.
it's really hard
Yeah.
that that programming that we as a society have around being stupid,
Mhm.
making mistakes, or being slow, like, fuck that program. I am
Right.
unsubscribing from that shit.
Absolutely. And then, especially when you're aware of it,
Mhm.
it makes it worse. Like, it makes it harder. It makes the process slower because then you are aware. You're like, it's I'm
Oh,
taking too long.
yeah.
It's why can't I
Well,
my
because then you're
process.
shaming yourself
Yes.
along with trying
Yes.
to process, which makes the
And
whole thing
yes, it
slower.
just takes longer.
Mhm.
Absolutely. My ADHD will get me up in that jam.
Mhm.
Stuck a lot of the time.
Yeah. I very much relate
Mhm.
because last week on the podcasts that we recorded and there was no audio to it, which
Oops.
was a heartbreak. Um like, broke down crying because I couldn't process something that I was saying.
Mhm.
I, like, forgot what I was saying for, I think, the 3rd or 4th time in the episode, and,
Right.
like, I couldn't handle it. I was
Right.
crying. I had to, like, get off camera for a minute and, like, shake out my feelings,
Oh, yeah.
and I'm sorry you guys didn't get to witness that, honestly, because well, part of me is not sorry because that it was a really vulnerable moment, and
But it was real. But it
the
was real.
coaching side of me was like, "Oh, that could have been such a really cool experience for people to see me and my vulnerability,
Right. Really working through.
like, in the moment working
Right.
through."
Feeling the feelings
Mhm.
and giving yourself a little space and not, shoving it.
Which I feel like brings me to one of the other things that I ritualize,
Mhm.
which is feeling my feelings.
Yes.
And it's new to me in the last, like, probably year and a half to 2 years.
Mhm.
Let's math-wise 2 years, now that I'm thinking about it. Um, because I was really good at shoving things down because
Oh, yeah.
emotions didn't feel safe for me to feel for a really long time for a variety of reasons.
Same.
And now I've started doing things like pulling off at the park that's nearby my house. If
Mhm.
I know that I have some emotions to feel for my day, I'll just sit there and cry or, like, yell or, sometimes I sit there in silence and
Mhm.
I just tell myself things like, "It's okay to feel now," because I don't it's not like I pull into the
Right.
park and my sadness is instantly accessible,
Right.
because when we shove it down to get through our day, it's not always instantly accessible,
Mm-mm.
especially if you've made a habit of shoving it down.
Yeah.
So I give myself, like, a little self hug. I'll, like, rub my arms, like, caress them real gently and be like, "It's okay to feel your feelings.
Mhm.
I know you felt sadness earlier today and I didn't let you feel it right away. And I'm sorry, body.
Yeah.
And we're in a safe space now.
Right.
And you can do that. You can feel your sadness now whenever you're ready."
Yep.
And I'll just sit there as long as it takes. Um, Sometimes that might be like 10 minutes. Sometimes it'll happen pretty quickly.
Mhm.
And I don't know, maybe for you that'll take an hour. Don't don't take my timeline for it.
Right. Right.
It depends on how you've been in relationship with yourself in the past.
Yeah.
And it's not like a coin flip.
Mhm.
Like they say turning over a new leaf. It's not like instantly you are better at feeling your feelings.
No.
Like it's a measure of coaxing yourself into that place where you feel safe enough to feel.
Right.
And for me, that's alone in my car in a park or alone in my house in my coziest chair with my coziest blanket.
Yep.
Or honestly, this past week when I was really sad that we didn't get the dog that we applied to adopt for and we lost all the audio on
Yeah.
our podcast, I, like, went to go lay in bed to cry
Yeah.
because I knew that I needed to cry and I hadn't been letting myself.
Yep.
So there is absolutely a way to ritualize feeling your feelings in a way that feels safe and allows
Mhm.
things to come out. This can look really differently for lots of other people because I know, like, my cousin has talked about, does she say her sad bitch playlist? Or maybe it's just her sad playlist. I think she called it her sad bitch playlist.
Yeah.
Um, if you're listening, let me know what your playlist is called.
I love that.
Um,
I love it.
where it helps her to get into
Yeah.
her feelings.
Oh, absolutely.
That helps her access it. I think my sister said she watches sad movies for that same reason.
Yeah, and I remember talking in an earlier episode, my roommate, my freshman year of college, and we would hunker down with some
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
snacks
yeah, yeah.
and put on Armageddon and just heat, like, full body heat, like, heaving sobs,
Mhm.
because sometimes you just have to release it, and it might not have been the sadness that was, you know obviously the movie itself was sad, but those big sobbing heaves
Mhm.
that started because of the movie, I
Are
mean,
not because of the
it
movie.
it helped release other sadness that I was
Mhm.
storing in my body
Mhm.
from whatever I was compartmentalizing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's this really prevalent philosophy the deeper you get into the world of energy work
Mhm.
that like dis-ease or disease in the body comes from constant suppression of
Yes.
emotions and storing and holding too many of them.
Mhm.
And like I think I subscribe to that
Oh,
wholeheartedly, that
yeah.
idea, because I know how freeing my body has felt
Yes.
the deeper I get into energy work,
Mhm.
which, if you're not super into it yet, is really outlined to help you release those old stored energies, because our emotions are energy,
Right.
so that you can grow. It allows healing energy to come in. It allows
Mhm.
more of your natural life force to flow through your body.
Mhm.
That's part of like what acupuncture does, is it
Oh.
helps to move stored or stuck energies in
Mhm.
your body for better life force energy flow. That's where you get like that revitalized like zazziness, that like zest for life, that
Ooh.
like vitality that gets to come when you practice things like kundalini yoga and raising your life
Mm.
force energy.
Yeah.
And it's really quite exciting, and it can feel like really quite primal sometimes
Yes. Ooh, I like that.
when you rewild yourself by getting those old
Right.
stored emotions out.
I really want to try acupuncture.
I fully recommend it. I've done it 2 whole times now.
I want to try it. So,
Mhm.
when we were talking about doing the episode about rituals and things, um, I had mentioned that I don't have any rituals that I do intentionally on the regular.
I think you're
I
not giving yourself enough credit, because you just talked about how you talk to yourself, you ask your kids and yourself
Yes, I'm
questions.
definitely trying. I'm definitely trying. I downloaded the Balance app
Mhm.
that is free for a year. It has some like guided meditations and things like that on there. I'm really trying to focus focus and be able to kind of drop into
Mhm.
the flow of things a little bit more regularly and intentionally. Um,
Do you wanna know a fun way to, like, drop yourself deeper in meditation really
yes,
easily?
yes, please.
So, it's called, Huckalao. It's a Hawaiian form of meditation, and
Ho'oponopono?
so it's not Ho'oponopono, it's different than that,
I
but
love that so much.
Ho'oponopono is so beautiful, and if you don't know what that is the, Hawaiian process of, like, self-intimacy where you tell yourself, "I love you. I'm sorry. I forgive you. Thank you." So
Mhm.
you are loving on yourself, you're thanking yourself for everything you do, you're practicing self-forgiveness. I'm giving myself
I'm
goosebumps.
singing it in my head. And you do it 108 times.
Oh, I didn't know the 108 times part. I just incorporate it as a part of my mirror work.
Oh,
Um,
well, it's traditionally
108 times.
108 times.
Well, thank you
Yeah,
for
you're
knowing
welcome.
that. I love that. So this Hawaiian form of meditation is called Huckalao. And so please don't do this if you're listening to this while you're driving or like on a treadmill or something. Only do this when you're like in a space where you can zone out, because it starts by you closing your eyes. So you close your eyes, and then with your eyes
Mm.
closed, you raise your gaze to where your third eye would be, like a little cyclops eye in the center of your forehead. And you just stare at that point. And so what that's essentially doing is it's raising your gaze by about 20 to 30%. And what that does as you rest your gaze there is it puts your brain into a state where it's producing more alpha brainwaves, which is a form of hypnotic brainwave. It's what your brain produces when you go into trance, into the beginning of a trance-like state. And so when your eyes are raised to this level, looking at your third eye, you can start to notice how you can perhaps hear a little bit more in the environment around you, things that you weren't paying attention to before. Perhaps the sigh of your dog in another room, or the rustling of a squirrel in the leaves outside, or kids playing in your neighborhood. Or little noises like maybe your refrigerator running. Things that were in the background but aren't anymore because you are sinking deeper into that trance state with your gaze focused on that third eye point. And you might even notice more sensations around you too, like the feeling of the blanket on your lap, or the linen or jersey knit on your clothes. Just expanding your awareness, letting your brain naturally in this state of increased alpha brainwaves. Just relax into this heightened awareness. And then, whenever it feels good, you can bring yourself back to the present moment. You can open your eyes. How do you feel?
So good.
Yeah?
So
In
good.
what ways? I'll ask you to describe it since we've got people listening.
Um, well, I felt very
Oh, a knock at the door.
easily.
Okay. Rose has gone outside now that we've dealt with that excitement from the door knock.
Yes.
So, I was asking you how you feel now after having
Yes.
done that.
Um, I feel really relaxed. I feel like when I open my eyes, like I feel so strange when I answer these questions because I feel
Vulnerable?
yes, because I feel like people will judge me.
That's fair. You don't have to
And
answer.
no, I totally want to because I want to be honest and I want to be vulnerable. Like I'm here to be
Okay.
real. But I just am saying that like I feel
You're feeling feelings
nervous.
about it.
I just
Yeah.
feel nervous because I feel like when I talk about things or when I talk about like seeing sound or whatever, I feel like
Yeah.
people are going to be like, she's bananas.
And some people will, to be honest. Like, and our podcast isn't for those people, and that's okay. Like, my things don't have to be for everyone. Their things probably aren't for me, and that's okay.
Yeah.
There's so many people on this planet.
So true.
Our podcast is not for every single person, and that's okay.
Yeah. Valid.
They just won't listen, or
True.
they'll hate listen, which I think is a thing, and I
Yeah.
don't
Fine.
understand it. If you're hate listening,
Thank you for the listen.
yes, first of all, thank you for your view. And like, for why? For what reason are you hate listening? You don't have to comment that. That might be a really vulnerable question that I just asked you. Anyway,
So when I opened my eyes, like I felt like all the colors in the room were more vibrant.
yes.
Um,
For the same reason why you could hear more and
yes.
perhaps feel more.
Yes.
Mhm.
And for those of you who don't know, Kayla's living room is filled with beautiful green plants and lots of beautiful, brightly colored books. So like that's what I saw when I opened my eyes. And they were all just like extra bright and beautiful.
If you join Patreon, you'll get to see.
Yeah. Um, so that was lovely. I feel like I don't know, like lighter. Like breathing is a little easier and
Ooh,
lighter and
yes.
like
Yeah, I love that.
I don't know. Lighter? Is that the
That's if that's
easier?
what you feel.
Yeah, I don't know how to describe it.
Okay. That's fair. Some things feel very indescribable, and that is
Yeah.
A-okay.
Yeah.
Hukalau is also sometimes called a heightened state of awareness. It can be really good if you need to up your focus during a situation, like
Oh,
during a particularly complex meeting, or I wish I had known this practice as a teacher because it's been shown to help humans with ADHD in classroom type settings.
wonderful.
So if there's something where you really like extra need your head in the game,
Mhm.
that can be a really great way to do that. And yeah, you notice more around you,
Mhm.
which is really quite nice when you're supposed to be paying attention.
Rose saw the salesman walk by again.
But but will it be a quick bark or a short bark? I forget what we were talking about though. Yep, huckalau and how it can be beneficial for focus,
Yes.
and yeah, it's also really good for a meditative state also.
Yes.
Uh,
I want to work on it. I want to learn more about that. I think that would help Max too.
oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's real easy, like, you just have him look at the center of his forehead with his eyes closed for
Mhm.
a few minutes like I did. You can
Mhm.
have him check for the sounds around
Yeah.
him and the fabrics and
Yeah. I think he
mhm,
would like that. I think that would be really good helping him to calm him down too when he gets real
mhm,
jazzed up.
mhm. Yeah, for surezies.
Yeah.
Yay! So that can be a really good ritual
Mhm.
for deepening your meditation practice.
Yeah.
Because, like, when I first started meditating, like you, I started
Yeah.
with the guided meditations, which
Mhm.
are really an phenomenal way to get into meditation.
Yeah.
In fact, I that's what I got for my sister-in-law for Christmas. I got her a
Awesome.
subscription to Calm, I think
Oh,
maybe?
yes. I loved Calm. There's a story on there that Harry Styles reads for like to drift you off to sleep.
Nice.
And
No,
that's
it was Simple Balance. That's the
oh,
one I got her
okay.
too.
Well, Calm I paid for a whole year just on
For
it
Harry
was yeah, it
Styles?
was on accident. I was going to get the free subscription. Um, but I really enjoyed listening to Harry Styles read me to sleep so much that I forgot to cancel it and then paid for the whole year, but I wasn't mad about it because
Then you got Harry Styles for a whole year?
oh yeah.
I almost said it for a whore year.
I mean,
That's not what I meant.
for Harry Styles though, I'm not
Mm,
against
I mean, he
it.
is really attractive.
He is so dreamy.
I The music video for Watermelon Sugar does things to me.
Same.
It's so sensual. Like, it just ugh.
Have you seen the video for Lights Up?
No.
Okay, well, we're gonna add that to our list for Saturday.
Okay.
Whew. Anyways, I like Harry Styles a whole lot.
I'm, like, fanning myself just thinking
Whew.
about it. I don't
I
even
think
know
I've
what
like
that
gotten all
song is.
flushed. Whoo, look at my cheeks. Dang. Woo.
Are you guys with us on the Harry Styles love? Do you love him too?
Yes.
Watermelon sugar high.
Hi. Oh
That's
my
it.
goodness.
That's all we can do.
I love him so much. I see his face, and in his face, I see Frank. In his face, I see Frank.
Oh.
I do.
She means Frank Sinatra, BT dubs.
I see it.
Is he reincarnated Frank?
I think there's something there. I'm not sure exactly what it is yet. I've thought about it.
Maybe Frank is one of his spirit guides, like hardcore.
Yeah, maybe because there's overlap in their time. Like they were alive at the same time briefly.
Oh.
So I don't think that,
They can be for sure
yeah,
sees, but
but there is something there. I see it.
yeah, essence of
Mhm.
Frank.
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
Love that.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I could think about Harry Styles for hours.
Same.
However, we're on a podcast with you guys also listening. So,
Thinking about Harry Styles could be my new ritual.
I mean,
To be fair, it was kind of one of my rituals during COVID.
thinking about Harry Styles, legitimately.
Yeah, watching videos,
Oh,
listening to the
sweet.
music,
Love that.
for sure.
Well, we all came up with weird rituals during lockdown.
His newest album, some of the music on his album made me cry. Like I felt so seen and like validated as a human being
I love that.
by Harry Styles
I love
in his
that.
new music.
I don't listen to albums very much. I'll listen to songs, but I don't sit and listen to an album very much, and which is weird because I used to very much, well, back in the days of CDs.
Yeah.
I kinda miss that a little bit.
I like to I'll listen to the whole album either on my phone or I'll buy the CD or the vinyl.
Mhm.
But I will do that and I will sit there with the lyrics because I want to read the lyrics as I'm
That's
listening
so
to it
cute.
because I want to fully process the music together. Not necessarily the first time through, but I want to put it all together
Mhm.
at some point.
I
So
love that.
I want to listen to the music and read the words together. That is a ritual I do. When it is music I like, I like to put them together because otherwise sometimes it's hard for me to process the lyrics and the music without reading the words and listening
Totally.
it. That's why I also watch TV with closed captions.
I think there are many people with
Yeah.
ADHD who do that.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Mhm. Or maybe just with audio processing disorders,
Yeah.
like, for sure. My nose is so itchy right now. I think it's because we have the door open because it's,
Okay.
like,
Yeah.
springtime.
72 degrees. What?
Ooh, ah, ooh. But it means my nose is super itchy. So, if you see me itching my nose, that's why.
Okay.
It's not because I secretly did coke in the bathroom.
That's so funny.
Okay, so other rituals that we engage in. I very much ritualize getting up before I have to in the mornings. It takes the pressure off of getting up, which is nice. It allows me a little bit of me time at the beginning of my morning, which I think is very important for my frame of mind. In fact, one of the most important moments a day for your unconscious mind is in the few moments after you wake up and in the few moments right before you fall asleep.
Ooh.
That is when your unconscious mind is most receptive to new thoughts, new ideas, manifestations. So if you are trying specifically to manifest something,
Mhm.
think about it. Focus your thoughts before you go to sleep.
What do you think about first thing in the morning? What do you like your alarm goes off?
Um, my alarm doesn't go off anymore. It's
Okay,
Carrie's.
so Carrie's alarm goes off and Kayla thinks,
I'm usually already a little bit awake. I very vividly dream during like the last parts of my sleep cycle.
okay,
So I'm usually stuck in some sort of dream and I know that I'm dreaming.
okay,
I'm very aware of the fact that I'm dreaming. So it's a lucid dream situation.
okay.
And then I mostly start thinking about getting up and my day
Mhm.
and what I make very sure not to do. My ritual specifically is something I don't do, and I do not instantly get on my phone. And that's something I used to automatically do was
Yeah.
just wake like first thing, get on my phone still in my bed.
Yes, I do that.
And I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. What I am saying is my particular pattern was to get on my phone and open Facebook. And what that's doing is it's giving your unconscious mind at one of its most open points external input from someone else rather than internal input from your own self.
Okay, so here's how I wake up in the morning.
Uh-huh.
Either so Mark's alarm goes off at like 4:30 a.m.
Mhm.
I'm falling back asleep.
For surezies.
Then my alarm clock goes off at 6:30. Usually, a child has been in my room prior to that to get the dogs cuz I have them set their alarms for 6:15.
Mhm.
The goal is that they are working towards becoming little humans that do things right on their own.
Independently.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
because they're older now. So,
Yeah.
and it got to the point where I hated mornings when I had to be the person who was like, "Time to wake up," and they're like, "Mom, go away. I don't want to."
I mean, that makes sense when you're getting
Oh,
yelled at first thing in the morning.
yes, and it was really rough. So, everybody's got alarm clocks now and they
Mhm.
need to set them and they do and they get up, okay? So, usually I'm awakened by rustling of a like tiny little boy zipping in and his
Mhm.
undies trying to get the dogs to let him outside and give him food, okay?
Mhm.
And then I can roll over and like, but I do, I get on my phone, I get on Facebook. Or my alarm clock goes off and nobody's awake yet, and I get on my phone and get on Facebook. Or my one of my older girls is frustrated because Max hasn't gotten up yet to get the
Mhm.
dogs. And then I'm awoken by a teenager yelling at the boy who is yelling at the girls. And then I'm woken up with all of the yelling and I'm upset and sad and stressed. So Mark has also told me to wake up earlier. I don't like to wake up earlier. I like to stay up late. I like to sleep in. I don't get that privilege because I have tiny humans still. And I get that. I know that.
Mhm.
I really do need to work on getting up before the rest of the humans.
Maybe you have all your own answers.
I know, but I need to do it in a way that makes it not seem miserable for me.
So then what's the opposite of miserable?
Joy,
Great. So what brings you joy?
sleep.
Okay. And since that is the thing that we can't do, what is another thing that brings you joy?
Honestly, in the morning, there is nothing I want more than to be laying in my bed super cozy. Like that is the pinnacle of joy. Cozy in my toasty warm bed
So what
is the
makes you
pinnacle of
feel
joy.
cozy?
Being in bed.
What Yes. So then what makes you feel like you need to change then? If you're already doing the thing that brings you the most joy, either sleeping or feeling cozy, then what needs to change?
Because the kids need me. If I stay in bed, then they become dysregulated and
Okay.
fall off track, and they
So
they still need my guidance in the morning. And when I'm not up and moving,
yeah. Okay. So then you just need cozy before they get up, is kind of what it sounds like to me.
yeah.
Okay.
So maybe I just need to set my alarm for like 5:45
Sure.
and then hang out in my cozy
Mhm.
and then get up when they get up.
If that feels like what you think, that sounds great.
I'm not sure. I want to be more intentional and more.
What it sounds like to me
Mhm.
on a coaching level
Yeah.
is that there's a part of you who wants to stay asleep, and there's a part of you who wants to wake up earlier so that you can have cozy moments and make sure that you're being there for your kids.
Right.
So then how can those 2 parts get on the same page?
Well, I can't be asleep and parent at the same time.
Right. So then we ask our parts, right? I'm using language from the Peace Talks method, the thing that I mention almost every podcast,
I love it.
where you talk to 2 parts,
Mhm.
right? 2 parts of you to find what their higher intentions are so that you can find common ground
Mhm.
between the 2.
Right.
It's the same type of tactic that gets used in, like, negotiation,
Right. Okay.
finding common ground. So, the part of you who wants to sleep,
Mhm.
what does she want for you?
Comfort?
Great. For what reason does she want comfort for you?
Hmm. Because it's peaceful?
I love that. So, for what reason does she want peaceful for you?
Because like being at peace is like one of my main goals.
What does that do for you, being at peace?
It feels good in my body.
So feeling good in your body, for what reason does she want that for you?
Mm, because it's really hard to do when I'm awake.
Okay. So if she wants you to feel good in your body, and that's hard to do when you're awake, for
Mhm.
what reason does she desire for you to feel good in your body?
Um, I don't know what that question is asking. I don't know. Like, as it feels good.
And what does
When
feeling good do for you?
it, mm, like it makes me feel at ease.
Beautiful. So feeling good and feeling at ease, for what
Mhm.
reason does she want that for you?
Because that is how I want to exist.
Beautiful. For what reason is that how you want to exist?
Because I don't know, because it feels right.
What about it feels right?
It just feels like I've been so tense for so long that feeling at ease and feeling peaceful is like a safety thing, probably.
Beautiful. For what reason does she want you to feel safety?
For love.
For what reason does she want love for you?
I don't know, just because for love, just for love.
I love that. And if I ask for what reason does she want love and safety for you, what comes up for you?
Um, like it feels like it feels like I don't know what it feels like it shouldn't feel so hard to feel love and safety
Beautiful. I love that. For what reason does she want you to be able to feel love and safety and not want it to feel hard?
because I deserve to feel love and safe
Yeah. For what reason does she think that you deserve to feel love and safety?
because I'm a human being
Yeah.
and human beings deserve to feel love and safe.
What does that do for you to feel love and safe?
I think it allows me to then not experience life through a place of filtering everything through that. Like then I'm not then I'm experiencing life, period.
For what reason does she want you to experience life?
'Cause that's what I'm here for.
I love that. That's beautiful. So what we did just there was we talked Ashley into like one of the
Mm,
highest realms of greatest good,
mhm,
right? Wanting to experience life. That when you do the peace talks method is often the place where we get to like, because that's my life purpose. That's what I'm here for.
mhm.
It often aligns with one of those like big, beautiful, high values. And you may have noticed that we bumped up against like a barrier thought every now and again when she would say something like, I don't know, and then something. Um, I just kind of like grouped the last two things together
Mhm,
that had a successful answer and then like push gently up against the barrier again with the question of for what reason or what
mhm.
does that do for you? Those
Yeah,
are like the two common questions.
yeah,
So then we can come to the other side of you,
right,
the other part of you, and ask so that part of you who wants to get up early for your
right,
kids,
right.
for what reason does she want you to do that, to engage in that behavior?
Because I want to be present for my kids.
I love that. For what reason? Like, what does that do for you to be present for your kids? We wanna keep it, like, focused on
Me?
ourselves.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay,
So what does
okay.
that do for you?
It makes me feel like a good mom
Love that. For what reason does she want you to feel like a good mom?
because I want to be a good mom.
Beautiful. For what reason does that part of you want you to be a good mom?
Because I want
Just the first thing that comes into your head. For what reason do you want to be a good mom?
because I don't wanna be a bad mom.
I love that. So for what reason do you not wanna be a bad mom?
That's about me.
Yeah.
Because I don't want my kids to hate me.
Love that. For what reason do you not want your kids to hate you?
Because I want my kids to love me.
I love that. For what reason do you want your kids to love you?
Because I love my kids.
I love that. And what does loving your kids do for you?
It I feel like it does everything for me. Like, I don't know how to answer that question. Um, um,
For what reason does loving your kids do everything for you?
because my kids are, like, the like, such a big part of me.
I love that. So, for what reason does that part of you want you to know that your kids are such a big part of you?
Hmm.
What does it do for you to know that your kids are a big part of you?
It keeps me present,
I love that. For what reason does she want you to be present?
um, to be, um, uh,
Whatever first comes into your head is perfect.
okay, because I want to be.
For what reason does she want you to feel present? And for what reason do you want to be present?
Um, because I love them
For what reason do you love them and want to be present for them?
like for all of the reasons and no reason at all. Like because they are my kids and I don't know how to answer that one either. I don't know.
That's okay. That's okay. What does loving your kids and being present for them do for you?
Helps me feel connected to them
I love that. For what reason do you want to feel connected?
because feeling connected with them is important to me
For what reason do you want to feel connected to them and have that be important to you?
because I want them to know that I love them and that I'm like their constant.
I love that. For what reason do you want them to know that you love them? What does that do for you? If they know that you love them, what does that do for you?
It makes me feel secure
Beautiful. For what reason do you desire to feel secure?
because it feels right. It feels natural.
It feels right and it feels natural.
Yeah.
Okay. For what reason do you want to feel secure and right and natural?
Mm. Oh my goodness, Rose. Um,
For what reason do you want to feel secure and right and natural?
um, because I think feeling any other way would be uncomfortable.
Okay. For what reason do you not want to be uncomfortable?
Because I want to be comfortable.
I love that. For what reason do you desire to be comfortable?
Because I comfort equals safety.
I love that. For what reason do you desire to feel safe and safety?
Mm, because then I can be myself.
I love that. For what reason do you desire to be yourself?
Because it's fun.
For what reason do you desire to have fun?
Uh, because that's part of the human experience of life.
For what reason do you want the human experience of life?
Because that's why I'm here.
It is. So, what I would love for you to do now that you know that the part of you who wants to stay asleep just wants the same exact thing as the part of you who wants to get up is
Yeah.
focus on that feeling of just enjoying your human existence, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. The two things just always wanted the same thing for you
Yeah.
this whole time. So, isn't it nice to know that they're actually on the same team, playing
Yeah.
unified as a whole and complete part of you now?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
How do you feel now about that old conflict you used to feel?
Like it is so strange to think about because prior to talking that all out, like it seems like they are very much against one another, right?
Mhm.
Like, I this thing is way over here and this other thing is way over here. Um, and there's no way that they could be connected.
How does it feel now that you know that they are connected?
It feels oh my goodness sakes, Rose.
Mm.
It feels like it doesn't really matter which way I choose or what I choose. It feels like I could choose either way, and like it feels like a much lighter choice. It feels like
Yeah, it
yeah,
does.
it does. It feels like it doesn't matter which way I wake up tomorrow. It will be a little bit more joyful. Like
Yes! I love that.
yeah.
You are, like, smiling from ear to
Yeah.
ear.
Yeah.
What are you feeling in your body right now?
Um,
Like, what feelings are you feeling?
like sensation wise,
Yeah.
um,
Or feeling, like, emotion-wise, whatever.
like I'm feeling joy, like I'm excited. Like I'm excited. Like I'm excited to go to sleep and wake up tomorrow and be
Oh my
like,
god!
feel what it feels like tomorrow
Fuck,
morning.
isn't that what we all want?
Yeah. Um, um, yeah, so that's exciting. I I feel like proud.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Rose is also proud.
Rose is so proud. Rose is so excited for the whole process.
Yeah.
She's like, whatever, you guys with your rituals over
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
I got my rituals and it's barking out the
Yes,
window.
it is.
So, first of all, thank you for going on that journey. You
Yeah,
didn't
thank
know that
you.
we were going to go
No,
on
I
a
didn't.
whole process.
No, but thanks for taking me
Yeah,
there.
of course. And so then what you guys listening and watching experienced was me do the Peace Talks method with Ashley.
Mm.
And I've got videos up on my Brave Heart Open Mind YouTube channel that talk you through how to do that same Peace Talks method with yourself. There are videos of me generically asking questions, and then you get to process through those parts of conflict with yourself so that you can feel like you are unified with yourself instead of always at odds with yourself.
Oof.
It's good shit. I do it with myself
Ugh,
all the time.
feels so much better
It
to
really
be on this
does.
side.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Good. That's why it's called the Peace Talks method, so that you can get your peace back and experience things like joy and zest for life, where
Yes.
decisions get to feel like, well, shit, no matter what I do, I'm on the same page with myself. I know that I'm working
Yeah.
towards like love and the human existence and like
Yes.
just making things a beautiful life for myself.
Yeah.
And that's fucking powerful when you can take that back for yourself.
Mhm.
So that's essentially what the Peace Talks method does, is it finds common ground between two parts of you that feel in conflict, and you just ask the same questions. For what reason do you want or not want XYZ? And if you notice that your answer has floated off to be, like for Ashley's example, something about kids, or maybe it's something about your mom or whatever, just ask yourself, okay, what does that do for me?
Mm,
And bring it back to yourself.
right.
And it's a seriously life-changing process. And the more you do it, the easier it gets, because you build up faith in the idea that all of you supports your highest values. Like, well, that's what the human existence is for. That's what I've been on
Yeah.
this planet for. That's like my purpose, because I want to have fun, because I want to like experience joy on this great level.
Yay.
So the more you do it,
Mhm.
the more you build that faith in yourself, that even those thoughts that sound like really gross or annoying that you don't want to experience.
Mhm.
Because I guarantee you, if you do this process with the thought that says, oh my God, you're a fat fucking cow person, which is a personal thought that I have
Right.
had to deal with many a time,
Mhm.
you'll find out that that person inside of you, that part of you who is calling you a fat cow, actually just fucking loves you and wants you to live your best life. It doesn't seem like that. It takes a lot of questions to get there. I will say that when you start to notice yourself saying answers like safety
Mhm.
or to feel secure, like Ashley answered, those let you know that you've like past the worst of it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, like you're getting close.
Yeah, once you get to the point where you hear yourself talking about safety, that might happen immediately out of the gate, or it might take you a while.
Right.
It depends on how deep the programming goes
Yeah.
sometimes,
Or how stuck in your head you are.
for sure, or how mean you've been to yourself.
Mm.
I would say the meaner side of things, for me personally, the longer it takes to hear myself say something like safety,
Right.
and that's okay. Like, it's all part of the process.
Mhm.
And for me now, because I've done this for, well, ever since I learned it in my certification, we learned it as parts integration in our certification. In the videos on my YouTube channel, it's a little bit more meditative, and so I call it the Peace Talks method. But I've been doing this for like 3.5 years now,
Yeah.
and my Peace Talks method in my hand is just me holding out a hand to whatever part of me I feel in conflict with,
Yeah.
and we take hands, and then I cradle that part of me like a little baby, and then we swirl around, and it's, like, instantly integrated.
I love that.
So I don't have to ask myself those series of questions
Mhm.
very often anymore. If it's something I feel really unsafe about, then I'll ask myself the
Right.
questions. But for all the little things, I have such a 3-year history of doing this with myself that it's super easy. Like, it's so easy.
Yeah.
So adopt this ritual perhaps for yourself.
Yeah.
It's very beneficial. I feel like we might need to do a
Follow up.
rituals part 2 at some
Yeah.
point, because I feel like I didn't talk a lot about some of the stuff that I've got
Yeah.
packed in my toolkit, but I also feel like
Yeah.
we've been talking for a long time. So
Yeah.
we'll cut things off for here, but comment below if you want to hear more of our rituals or things that we're going through. If in general you have any ideas about what you want us to talk about, please leave those in the comments
Yes.
below
I
or
would
shoot us a DM on Facebook or whatever.
yeah.
She's Ashley Gleason. I'm Kayla Vavra on Facebook. We don't have a Your Soul Welcome Facebook because I can barely do my own for my business.
Same. But we also wanted to have a community, so we created our Patreon, and
Yes.
we created it as at a price point that was pretty low. We wanted to make it pretty accessible.
Yeah, for sure.
Um, and we wanted to have it on the Patreon because then when you join, you are intentionally joining with other people who are intentionally joining. So it is not a big public forum kind of
Mhm.
like Facebook is. So it is
Yeah, it's safer, it's cozier.
it is.
Speaking of wanting to feel cozy all the
Yes.
time, it's a cozier place to be.
Yes.
And as of recording this, we'll be honest, we don't have patrons yet.
Yeah.
We're just really excited
Yeah.
for like when they come. We're
Yeah.
definitely in the like the nesting stage.
For
You know
sure.
how like I don't know this from experience because I'm not a mom, but like you have that nesting phase where you're just like getting everything ready.
Yeah.
Like I do when we adopted Rose,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
We got her like new toys. We bought her like the best treats that my
Oh,
friend
yeah.
recommended. So we're nesting with our Patreon and
Yes.
we would love for you to like join our little nest
Yes,
and
please do.
be besties with us and do life together with
For
us.
sure.
Yay!
Yay. All right.
We love you so much. So fucking much.
Yep.
Okay, love you. Bye.
Love you. Bye.